topic is the governance system. Question number one. Which one of the following best defines the term state? Option A is correct. A community of persons permanently occupying a definite territory, independent of external control and possessing an organized government. So, the state is a community of persons, more or less numerous, permanently occupying a definite portion of a territory, independent or nearly so of external control and possessing an organized government to which the greater body of inhabitants render habitual obedience. गार्नर की डेफिनेशन है ये. The term state is central to the body of to the study of political science. The following are the elements of a state: people, that is a community of persons permanently living here; government, territory, demarcated boundary that separates one state from another; sovereignty, it has an independent say in all domestic and external decision making. Which one is the most prominent element of a state? Sovereignty. Option C is correct. The state has four essential elements: population, territory, government, and sovereignty. Among all of them, sovereignty is the most important element. India before 1947 was not a state because though it had the other three elements, that is population, territory, and government, the fourth and the most important one, that is sovereignty, was missing because of British control over India. With reference to the sovereignty of India, which of the following statements are correct? India is a member of Commonwealth of Nations. Correct. Sovereignty of India is curtailed due to its membership of Commonwealth of Nations. It is wrong. So option A is correct. The word sovereign implies that India is neither a dependency nor a dominion of any other nation, but an independent state. Though in 1947, India declared the continuation of her full membership of the Commonwealth of Nations and accepted the British Crown as the head of Commonwealth. This extra constitutional declaration does not affect India's sovereignty in any manner. The idea of preamble has been borrowed in Indian constitution from the Constitution of USA. Option D is correct. The idea of preamble was borrowed from Constitution of United States, whereas the language of the preamble was borrowed from the Constitution of Australia. Constitution of India provides which type of governance system? Parliamentary. Option C is correct. There are mainly two types of system of governance: parliamentary and presidential. India follows a parliamentary form of government which is influenced by the parliamentary system of United Kingdom. In a parliamentary system, the executive branch derives its democratic legitimacy from the legislature and is also accountable to the legislature. In the parliamentary system of government, the legislature controls the executive. Option D is correct. In a parliamentary system of government, the executive is controlled by the legislature. A parliamentary system of government is one in which the government is responsible to the parliament and can be removed by it. Option B is correct. In a parliamentary system of government, members of the executive branch are taken from the legislature and are also accountable to the legislature, that is parliament. The parliamentary system of government is also known as the cabinet form of government. Government is responsible to the legislature's popular house and remains in power till it has the support of the majority of members in that house. The parliamentary form of government was first introduced in which country? Great Britain. Option A is correct. The modern concept of parliamentary government emerged in the Kingdom of Great Britain. The notable historian Professor Pushpet Pant has also mentioned about the UK being the birthplace of the parliamentary government in his famous book Vishwa Ka Itihas. The Indian parliamentary system is different from the British parliamentary system in that India has the system of judicial review. Option D is correct. The Constitution of India adopted the process of judicial review from the US Constitution, which is not applicable in the British parliamentary system, while the rest of the options are applicable to both the parliamentary system. We adopted parliamentary democracy based on the British model. But how does our model different from that model? As regards legislation, the British Parliament is supreme or sovereign, but in India, the power of the Parliament to legislate is limited. It is correct. In India, matters related to the constitutionality of the amendment of an Act of Parliament are referred to the Constitution bench by the Supreme Court. 2 is also correct, so option C is correct. The parliamentary sovereignty is a principle of UK Constitution. It makes Parliament the supreme legal authority in the UK, which can create or end any law. Generally, the courts cannot overrule its legislation, and no parliament can pass laws that future parliaments cannot change. Therefore, statement 1 is correct. But India follows a constitutional government where the power of parliament to legislate is limited by the constitution. In the case of India, the concept of basic structure has molded the judiciary to a certain extent. The basic structure principle has stood as a pillar for the Indian judiciary. It gives the power to the judiciary to curb any action of the legislature and the executive branch if it is found to be found contradictory. The provision for a constitution bench has been provided in the Constitution of India under Article 143 and Article 145 subclause 3. It is the Chief Justice of India who is constitutionally authorized to constitute a constitution bench and refer cases to it. A constitution bench consists of at least 5 or more judges of the court who are set up to decide substantial questions of law with regard to the interpretation of the constitution in a case. Which one of the following is not the feature of Indian constitution? Presidential government. The presidential form of government is not a feature of the Indian constitution. Parliamentary government, independence of judiciary, and federal government are the characteristics of Indian constitution. Which one of the following is incorrect about the Indian political systems? Presidential system of government is incorrect about the Indian political system. So option D is right. India has parliamentary form of government, not a presidential form of government. President is only the formal head of the government. In other words, he is a nominal head of the executive branch, the real executive being the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. Indian Constitution adopted a form of secular state and a federal system. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion, another is reason. India has a parliamentary system of government. In India, the executive is responsible to the legislation. So, option both the statements are correct, and R is correct explanation of A. So, option D is correct. India has adopted the parliamentary system of government. Its core feature is that the real executive, the Council of Ministers led by Prime Minister, is responsible to the legislature, parliament, especially the lower house, Lok Sabha. The Indian Constitution clearly establishes this responsibility. Article 75, subclause 3 for the Union, the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the House of the People. Article 164.2 for the states, the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the Legislative Assembly. This principle is the central characteristic of parliamentary government, collective responsibility of the executive to the lower house. Therefore, both the statements are correct. There is parliamentary system of government in India because Council of Ministers is responsible to the Lok Sabha. Option D is correct. A parliamentary system of government is a system of democratic government in which the members of the executive are taken from the legislature and are accountable to the same. Therefore, executive is responsible to the Lok Sabha. The main advantage of the parliamentary form of government is that the executive remains responsible to the legislature. Option C is correct. One of the main advantages of the parliamentary form of government is that the executive remains responsible to the legislature. This results in the formation of a responsible government. In such a government, the executive branch derives its legitimacy from the legislature. In the context of India, which of the following principles is or are implied institutionally in the parliamentary government? Members of cabinet are the members of parliament, correct? Ministers hold the office till they enjoy confidence in the parliament, correct? The cabinet is headed by the head of the state. It is wrong because it is the head of the state is president. It is head of government. So option 1 and 2 are correct. In parliamentary system, the Union Council of Ministers exercises executive authority. The Council of Ministers is responsible to the lower house of parliament, which is called the House of the People. Any minister who is not a member of either house of parliament for 6 consecutive months shall, at the expiration of that period, cease to be a minister according to Article 75, subclause 5. According to Article 75, subclause 3, the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the House of the People. This statements 1 and 2 are correct, but statement 3 is incorrect as the cabinet is headed by the head of government, Prime Minister, not the head of the state. That is President. Which one of the following statements is correct regarding the parliamentary form of government? So, the executive is responsible to the legislature. Option B, none of the above, more than one. So, features of parliamentary form of government are executive is responsible to the legislature, majority party rule, collective responsibility, nominal and real executives, political homogeneity, double membership, leadership of prime minister, dissolution of lower house, secrecy of procedure. Out of the following statements, choose the one that brings out the principle underlying the cabinet form of government. So, a mechanism of parliamentary democracy for ensuring collective responsibility of the government to the people. Option C is correct. Parliamentary system of government is also known as the cabinet form of government or responsible government. This type of government is accountable to the popular house of legislature and remains in power till it has the majority in that house. Thus, the cabinet form of government is a mechanism to ensure the collective responsibility of the government to the people. In a presidential government, all the executive powers are vested in the president. In a presidential form of government, all the executive power are vested in the president who serves as both head of state and head of government, like in America. The cardinal features of political system in India are it is a democratic republic, correct. It has parliamentary form of government, correct. The supreme power vested in the people of India, correct. It provides for a unified authority, it is wrong because it is based on separation of powers. The cardinal feature of political system in India is that it is democratic republic where the supreme power is vested in the people of India. India has a parliamentary form of government. However, it does not provide for a unified authority. It makes a separation of power between the union and the states. Consider the following statements. India is a democratic polity, correct. India is a sovereign state, right. India has a democratic society, right. India is a welfare state, right. So option D is correct. According to Constitution, India is a sovereign, socialist, secular and democratic republic. The architect of Indian Constitution provided for a welfare state through the provisions of DPSP. Which one of the following is not a feature of Indian polity? Authoritarian government. There is the rule of law in India. India has a democratic government which is opposite to the authoritarian government. After every 5 years, the people of India elect their representatives who constitute a government following the Constitution of India. The central and state governments get authority from the Constitution. Indian option A is correct. Parliamentary form of government. The Constitution of India has opted for the parliamentary form of government. It is also known as the Westminster model of government, responsible government, etc. The Constitution establishes the parliamentary system not only at the center but also in the states. Hence, the constitution is the source of authority for both central and state governments. Consider the following statements and choose the correct answer. India is a democratic country. Yes, India has a constitution of its own. Option B is correct because it is not the correct explanation that India is a democratic country. So, India is a democratic country in which important decisions of governance are made by the elected representatives of the people. India has a written constitution. However, United Kingdom, being a democratic country, does not have a written constitution. On the contrary, non-democratic countries do have some form of constitution to govern the functioning of the government. Which of the following is not a feature of good governance? Red tapeism. Option D is correct. Red tapeism refers to excessive regulation that hinders or prevents action or decision making. Thus, it is not a feature of good governance. On the other hand, accountability, transparency, and rule of law are features of good governance. Welfare state aims to management of welfare of weaker sections. The welfare state is a concept of government in which the state plays a key role in the protection and promotion of the social and economic well-being of its citizens. It is based on the principles of equality of opportunity, equitable distribution of wealth, and public responsibility for those unable to avail themselves of the minimum necessities for a good life. The state is everywhere, it leaves hardly a gap. This statement explains the concept of welfare state. Which one of the following is not the philosophy of the Constitution of India? Communal state. Option D is correct. The philosophy and ideals of the Constitution are reflected in the preamble to the Constitution. India is a democratic republic committed to providing equality of opportunity and status. The preamble describes a socialist state as an ideal to be realized by India. To provide for political equality, India has adopted the principle of adult franchise, communist state. However, it is not the philosophy of Constitution of India. Which one of the following statement is correct? India is a parliamentary democracy is correct. All other statements are incorrect. What is the main source of political power in India? The Constitution. Option the people of India. Option A is correct. The Indian Constitution starts with the words "We the people of India." So, the people are the source of the political power in India. India is a democratic republic, that is, a state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives. Which one of the following is the basic feature of presidential government? Single executive. In such a government, the power is centralized. Which one of the following is correct? The main feature of presidential form of government is the head of executive is the president. The president appoints his council of ministers. The president cannot dissolve the legislature. Option D, all of the above are correct. The main feature of the presidential form of government is that the president is the head of the state and executive. He also appoints his council of ministers, but he cannot dissolve the legislature. In which country was the presidential form of government first formed? United States of America. Option D is correct. The presidential form of government first emerged in America. American presidency is regarded as the oldest and purest form of presidential government. In this type of system, the executive power of whole government administration is vested in the president. He is elected indirectly by the people for a fixed period. The democracy of India is based on the fact that public enjoys the right to choose and change the government. Option C is correct. The democracy of India is based on the fact that people have the right to elect their representatives who form the government. It is a political system where people are supreme and have freedom to choose and change the government at the time of election. Democracy's superior virtue lies in the fact that it calls into activity intelligence and character of ordinary men and women. Democracy requires the participation of the people who are at the helm of the government, and they have to choose the right person to represent them. Participation develops awareness and enriches them with the information required to make decisions. The onus of success of democracy is directly related to the quality of decisions made by the people. Thus, the virtue of democracy lies in the fact that it builds on the wisdom and character of common people. India is a republic means there is no hereditary rulers in India. Republic means a state in which the supreme power is held by the people and the head of the state is elected by the people through election. In the case of India, the head of the state is elected by indirect election, that is through elected representatives. Hence, India is a republic. India is a republic, which implies that the head of the state is elected. Option A is correct. Which one of the following determines the Indian constitution is federal? Distribution of power between union and states. The democratic governments are classified into two categories, unitary and federal. In a unitary constitution, all the powers are concentrated in a central authority. The states are subordinated to such central authority. In a federal constitution, there is a distribution of power among the center and the states. States are not subordinates of the center. In the Indian constitution, there is a provision for the distribution of powers between the union and the states in the seventh schedule. So it is called a federal constitution. Indian constitution is neither rigid, sorry, partly rigid, partly flexible. Option D is correct. The Indian constitution is considered a combination of flexibility and rigidity as it is partially rigid and partially flexible. Some of its provisions can be amended by a simple majority, and some of the provisions need a two-thirds majority under Article 368 for amendments. Even after the special 2 by third majority, some of them need ratification by at least 50% of the state legislatures. Which one of the following points differentiates the Indian parliamentary system and the British parliamentary system? Judicial review. Because Indian constitution adopts it from American constitution. Option B is correct. In the absence of written constitution, the British Parliament is a sovereign body, while the Indian Parliament is subject to the Constitution of India. Its powers are not absolute in the British sense of the term. The Supreme Court has the power of judicial review. It can declare any legislative action which is inconsistent with the basic structure of the Constitution of India as null and void. Consider the following statements and select the correct answer from the code given at the end. The Constitution of India provides for a federal system. It has created a very strong center. So both statements are correct, but second statement is not the correct explanation. As per B.R. Ambedkar, the Constitution can be both unitary as well as federal according to the requirements of the time and circumstances. In normal times, it is framed to work as a federal system, but in times of war or emergency, it is so designed as to make it work as though it was a unitary system. Federalism is not practical in India. India is not a federal state. So option C is A is true, but R is false because India is a quasi-federal state. India is not a complete federal state because some provisions of Indian constitution gave it a unitary character. So Indian constitution is federal in nature but unitary in spirit. However, number of constitutional experts accept it as a federal state as there is a division of powers between the union and states. Casey Ware describes the Indian constitution as quasi-federal. Which one of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature that indicates that it is federal in character? The independence of judiciary is safeguarded. So option A is correct. Independence of the judiciary is an essential condition for the federal system because it is the judiciary that has power of interpretation of the constitution. Which of the following is not a federal feature of the Indian constitution? Single citizenship is the unitary feature, not a federal. So distribution of power between center and states, entirely written constitution and independent judiciary are the features of federal state. The Indian constitution has both federal and unitary features. Its federal characteristics include a written constitution, rigid constitution, distribution of powers between states and center, independence of judiciary and bicameral legislature, etc. However, it also includes features like single citizenship, appointment of governors by the president, declaration of emergency, and the power of parliament for agreements implementation, which are military characteristics. Which unitary elements are found in Indian federal system? So, written constitution, supremacy of the constitution, appointment of governor, president's approval on state bills. So, option D is correct. 4, 6, and 7 are the characteristics of unitary. The Constitution of India contains all the usual features of a federation, which is two government, division of powers, written constitution, rigidity of the constitution, independent judiciary, and bicameralism. However, Indian Constitution also contains a large number of unitary features, which is strong center, single constitution, single citizenship, flexibility of the constitution, integrated judiciary, appointment of state governor by center, all India services, emergency provisions, etc. Which of the following is a unitary element in the federal state? Appointment of governor, unequal representation in Rajya Sabha, and all India services are the unitary elements. Article 1 of Indian Constitution declares India to be a union of states. However, the Constitution has a unitary element in the federal structure. For example, provisions for a powerful center, single citizenship, the appointment of governors, all India services, and unequal representation in the Rajya Sabha are unitary elements. Which of the following statements about the federal system in India are correct? The Constitution introduces a federal system as the basic structure. There is a strong admixture of a unitary bias. Both the union and state legislature are sovereign. The legislative, financial, and judicial powers have been divided between union and states. So option B is correct. 1 and 2 are only correct. The Constitution of India introduces a federal system as the basic structure of government, as there is the distribution of power as given under the 7th schedule of the Constitution. And Article 245 to 255, which is related to the distribution of legislative powers. However, features like single citizenship, appointment of governors by president, power of the parliament to legislate on any matter of state list in times of emergency under Article 250, power of parliament to legislate on a matter of state and the national interest, Article 249, shows a strong unitary bias. So statement 1 and 2 are correct and 3 and 4 are wrong. Because the state legislature does not have a power in reference to foreign and defense matters, this power comes under the union government. So only the union is sovereign, not the states. There is only hierarchy in the judicial system, not the division of judicial power between the union and state. So 4 is also wrong. Which one of the following characteristics is not true for the unitary form of government? Ideal for large countries, because characteristics of unitary form of government are a strong center, single constitution, flexibility of the constitution, emergency provisions, single citizenship, integrated judiciary. All India services, integrated audit machinery, parliament's authority over state list, appointment of governor, integrated election machinery, and veto over state bills. It cannot be outrightly said that it is ideal for large countries. It only depends on the country's will. President of India is elected indirectly, correct. Parliamentary system in India has been combined with republicanism. So option A is correct. The President of India is elected by indirect election. The parliamentary system in India has been combined with republicanism, as the head of the state is the president. As in a republic, there is no hereditary ruler, and all the representatives and some other authorities are elected by either direct or indirect election by the people. Thus, both statements are true. Political parties are lifeblood of democracy. Normally, people blame political parties for bad governance. So, option A is correct. In a democratic system, political parties play an important role in the formation of government. They bring people together to achieve control of government and develop policies favorably and in interest of the people. So it is said that political parties are lifeblood of democracy. It is also true that people usually blame political parties for bad governance. Who had proposed partyless democracy in India? Mahatma Gandhi and Jayaprakash Narayan proposed partyless democracy in India. The primary objective of India's federal design was to weave a nation out of its many diverse parts and protect national integration. Accommodation of diversities has built a stronger, not weaker Indian nationhood. Option B is correct. Here, assertion and reason both are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Under Article 1, India is a union of states which includes 28 states and 8 union territories. There is a division of power between the union and the states, where more powers are given to the union. Indian federal design aims to weave a nation out of its many diverse parts and protect national integration. Therefore, the accommodation of diversities has resulted in a strong nationhood, not a weaker one. The nature of Indian political system embodies the elements of continuity and change. Correct. Indian political system contains the elements of following political systems such as modern style, traditional, and saint style. Option A is correct. Like Indian political system from the modern period to the modern era, its specific elements still exist in tangible form. Although the continuous and changing Indian political system from various ages and periods contained elements of modern style, traditional style, and saintly style. Women, Dalits, poor, and minority groups are the biggest stakeholders of democracy in India. Democracy in India has emerged as the carrier for the desire for self respect. Option A is correct. Democracy protects individual rights and increased the self respect and dignity of women, poor, Dalit, and minority groups. So, they are the biggest stakeholders of democracy in India. The reason for the Indian constitution being the bulkiest is that all options are correct. So, the Indian constitution is the longest written constitution in the world. There is no single reason for the bulkiest of the constitution in the given option. The nature of constitution has become large due to all of the above reasons. So, not even a single valid reason among all the choices, but all are true. Which of the following statements is true? The federal form of government is in United States of America. The government of India is federally wrong. Wrong. So option A is correct. The government system of America is federal. The United States of America is a federal republic consisting of 50 states. However, India is a union of 28 states and 8 union territories. Article 1 of Indian Constitution declares it to be the union of states. A federal government is one in which there is a division of powers between central government and state government by constitution itself, and both operate in their respective jurisdictions independently. Some constitutional experts called Indian constitution a unitary nature because in times of emergency it provides a strong center. But the reality is that Indian constitution is of federal nature, having some unitary features. Which one of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? There is an independent judiciary, correct. Powers have been clearly divided between center and states. Federating units have been given an equal representation in Rajya Sabha. It is a result of an agreement among federating. It is wrong because India is not a. It is not the agreement among the states. A written constitution, distribution of powers, supremacy of the constitution, independence of judiciary, unequal representation of states in the Rajya Sabha, and dual governments are all features of Indian federalism. However, Indian federalism is not a result of any agreement among the federating units. While using the word union, Dr. Ambedkar mentioned in the Constituent Assembly that it shows that the Indian Federation is not the result of an agreement by the units, and the component units have no freedom to secede from it. So this option D is correct. Indian federalism is called quasi-federal. India has an independent judiciary with power of judicial review. So both statements are correct, but second statement is not the explanation of first. So option B. The Constitution of India has been described in various ways. Casey Weir describes it as quasi-federal. It means that the government generally belongs to the federal system, but the constitution enables the federation to be converted into a unitary state. Generally, it happens during an emergency. Independent judiciary empowered by judicial review is a crucial feature of our constitution. The Constitution of India explicitly establishes the doctrine of judicial review in the following articles: 13, 32, 136, 137, 226, and 227. Thus, both statements are true, but reason is not the correct explanation. Indian Constitution is a quasi-federal. Yes, Indian Constitution is neither federal nor unitary. So, option A is correct. The framers of the Constitution adopted the federal system for two main reasons: the large size of the country and its socio-cultural diversity. There is no unanimous view among the constitutional experts regarding the nature of the Constitution. Granville Austin describes Indian federalism as cooperative federalism, while Casey Weir describes it as quasi federal. In the words of D.D. Basu, the Constitution of India is neither purely federal nor unitary, but it is combination of both. What is the nature of Indian Constitution? Option D, federal in nature but unitary in spirit. Who was in who called Indian federalism as cooperative federalism? Granville Austin. Option A is correct. Which of the following critics used the term quasi-federal for the Indian system of government? Casey Weary. Option C is correct. Constitutional scholar Professor Casey Weary, in his book Federal Government, describes the Indian system as a quasi-federal state, a unitary state with subsidiary federal features. Hence, he is cited as the originator of the concept of quasi-federalism. Quasi-federal implies a constitution containing both federal and unitary features, but with comparatively greater powers vested in the center. Who said India is a quasi-federal state? Casey Weary. Option D is correct. Match list with list 2. Cooperative federalism, Granville Austin. A4. Option C is correct. Quasi-federal, C1. Bargaining federalism, Morris Jones. Federalism with centralizing tendency, Ivor Jennings. Option C is correct. In relation to Indian Constitution, who said that Indian Constitution establishes good balance between rigidity and flexibility? Casey Weary. Option D is correct. Casey Weary was of the opinion that Indian Constitution is a quasi-federal constitution. He said that Indian Constitution establishes a good balance between rigidity and flexibility because there exists a variety in the amending process. Some provisions of the Constitution can be amended only by a simple majority and some by special majority. Therefore, it can be termed as a good balance between rigidity and flexibility. Who of the following has stated that the Constitution has not been set in a tight mold of federalism? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Option C. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar accepted that the Indian Constitution had not been set in the tight mold of federalism and it contains both federal and unitary characteristics. Who rejected the principles of administration as myths and proverbs? Herbert Simon. Herbert A. Simon rejected the principle of administration as myths and proverbs, while Dwight Waldo, Frank Marini, and F. W. Riggs accepted administration as myths and proverbs. Which one of the following reflects the most appropriate relationship between law and liberty? Option B is correct because if there are no laws, there is no liberty. There are the two are at odds with one another. Rather, they complement one another. The liberty only comes as a result of established laws. When there are no laws to protect or provide freedom and liberty, violations of the same take place. Who among the following is concerned with the concept of development administration? Fred W. Rigg. Option A is correct. Development, adm- development administration is a dynamic concept that brings about socio-economic and political economic changes in society. Fred W. Riggs gave the concept of development administration. Riggs defined it to be the organized efforts to be used by large scale organizations, notably governments, to implement policies and plans designed to meet their development objectives. Which one of the following thinkers favors similarities in public administration and private administration? Henry Fayol. Option D is correct. Henry Fayol is known as the father of modern management theory. He gave the famous 14 principles of management and said These are universal in nature. So, through these universal principles, Fayol tried to establish similarities in public administration and private administration. If our civilization fails, it will be mainly because of a breakdown of administration. This statement has been given by B. Donham. Option C is correct. Which one of the following is not true in relation to democratic determination? A state in which people are supreme, supreme power is wasted in elected head, supreme power is wasted in a person solely, likewise a king. It is wrong. A government formed by representative elected by people. So, option C is incorrect. Which of the following are regarded as the main features of rule of law? Limitation of powers, equality before law, people's responsibility to the government, liberty and civil rights. So, option C is correct because peoples are not responsible to the government. The rule of law was propounded by A.V. Dicey, a British jurist. His concept has the following three elements: limitation of powers, that is, absence of arbitrary power. No man can be punished except for a breach of law. Equality before law, that is, equal subjection of all citizens to the ordinary law of the land, administered by ordinary law courts. Liberty and civil rights, that is, primacy of the rights of the individuals. The constitution is the result of the rights of the individuals as defined and enforced by the courts. Hence, option C becomes the correct answer. Which one of the following statements best reflects the chief purpose of the constitution of a country? So, constitution defines and limits the power of the government. So, option C is correct. A nation's constitution serves primarily to establish the structure and nature of the government, thereby providing a foundation for it. The state's constitution, which is its foundation law, also establishes the roles and duties of the three branches of government: the legislature, executive, and the judiciary. However, its chief purpose is to define and limit the power of government. In fact, constitutional government is by definition a limited government. Consider the following statements. A constitutional government is one which places effective restrictions on individual liberty in the interest of state authority, places effective restriction on the authority of the state in the interest of individual liberty. So option B is correct and one is wrong. The constitution is the source of power of a constitutional government. The constitution imposes certain limitations upon the government in the interest of the people. Constitutionalism has evolved to protect public interest and liberty from the autocratic power of the government. The institutional mechanism remains present in constitutional government to protect citizens' liberties. Constitutional government, by definition, is a limited government. Option D is correct. The constitution is the source of power of a constitutional government. The constitution imposes certain limitations upon the government in the interest of the people. Hence, a constitutional government, by definition, is a limited government. Constitutional government means a government limited by the terms of the constitution. Constitutional government or constitutionalism means that a government's authority is determined by a body of laws or constitution. Although constitutionalism is sometimes regarded as a symbol for limited government, that is only one interpretation and by no means the most prominent one. In the context of polity, which one of the following would you accept as the most appropriate definition of liberty? So, opportunity to develop oneself fully. Option D is correct. Option D provides a positive conception of liberty as provided in our constitution. Option A and B give a negative perception of liberty. And option C is related to anarchy and lawlessness. The term liberty means absence of restraints on the activities of individuals and at the same time providing opportunities for the development of individual personalities. Liberty, that our constitution provides for the provision of reservation, protection of minority rights, prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, etc., provides for creating an enabling atmosphere which individuals can develop themselves fully. One of the implications of equality in society is absence of privileges. The principle of equality is largely confined to the test of eradicating social special privileges. This is evident in the fact that the calls for formal equality were first made in the hope of breaking down the hierarchy of ranks and orders that had survived from feudal times. Privileges granted to one class of person on the grounds of gender, color, creed, or religion are widely regarded as irrational prejudices which fall contrary to the principles of equality. On the following political features, which are common to India and USA: residuary powers vested in the center? No. Residuary power no. President has power of pocket veto. The upper house has some nominated members. So option A correct. Only statement is right. Pocket veto is an indirect veto for legislative bill by an executive through retention of the bill unsigned until adjournment of the legislature. The President of India and the American President both possess a pocket veto. American President is bound to return the bill within 10 days if he refuses to assent, whereas there is no such time limit in the Indian Constitution for the President of India. The residuary powers are vested in the center in India and in states in the USA. All the members are directly elected to the upper house of the USA, while in the upper house of the Indian Parliament, 12 members are nominated by the President. In which report of the Second Administrative Reforms Commission, barriers of good governance in India have been identified? Citizen centric administration, the heart of governance. Option B is correct. In report 12, citizen centric administration, the heart of governance of the Second Administrative Reforms Commission, barriers to good governance in India have been identified. It also describes the preconditions for good governance. Which of the following institutions are considered necessary to promote unity among diversity in the Indian Constitution? Interstate Council and National Development Council, Finance Commission and Regional Council, Unitary Judicial System and All India Services, all of the above. Option D is correct. Interstate Councils, National Development Council, Finance Commission and Regional Council, and Unitary Judicial System and All India Services, all these institutes are necessary to promote unity among diversity in the Indian federalism. These institutions give shape to Indian federalism. Interstate Council, formed under Article 263 of the Constitution, aims at discussing or investigating policies, subjects of common interest and disputes among states. The National Development Council is the apex body for decision making and deliberations on the development matters in India. It is presided over by the Prime Minister. The Finance Commission, established under Article 280 of the Constitution, was formed to define the financial relations between the central government of India and the individual state governments. India has adopted a unitary judicial system with the Supreme Court at the top. Article 312 of the Constitution of India provides for the constitution of all India services. In which of the following decades the parliamentary system in India shifted from centralism to federalism? 1970s. The parliamentary system in India shifted from centralism to federalism during the decade of 1970s, 1971 to 80, when the Congress party lost power in many states. Thank you.